back to another episode of In the Slot. I'm your host, Jacob Fraser, with my co-host, Keanen Tregaskis. And it's been a while. We said, I think last episode, we said back with weekly content, but we weren't back with weekly content.
No.
But that's my bad. I was sick for a couple weeks. It hit me pretty hard after the Christmas break. So we're back this time with weekly content here.
Yeah.
But how have you been doing, Keanen?
Pretty good. Life's been good. Great January.
That's great. Yeah. Dodging the sickness, as you said earlier.
We got different months here.
Yeah. But so today we're just there's a lot to go over in our weekly updates. I mean, weekly updates is kind of just the name of the segment, but it's more like the last 2 weeks.
Bi-weekly updates at this point.
And then we'll get into our team of the week. We'll also talk some trade rumors around the league as we approach the Olympic roster freeze and the trade deadline coming up shortly. And then we'll talk about the Olympic rosters because we haven't had a chance to talk about that yet. But let's just kick things off with the Rasmus Andersson trade. Rasmus Andersson traded from the Calgary Flames to the Vegas Golden Knights. The return was Zach Whitecloud, Abram Wiebe, who's a prospect, 2027 first round pick, and a conditional 2028 second round pick from the Vegas Golden Knights going back to Calgary. I honestly, I'm kind of surprised by this return. I think Zach Whitecloud's a good defenseman, and obviously you get that first round pick, but I kind of expected a little bit more for a player like Rasmus Andersson.
Yeah, I think the problem is expiring contract.
Mm-hmm.
Like if they pulled the trigger last year, obviously multiple first rounders or a different team, and it's a more higher end prospect that they can develop and bring up when their core is going to be competitive. But I think it's a good enough return for half a season of Rasmus Andersson for Vegas, and they'll figure out a way to re-sign him this offseason. They always do. But that's their Pietrangelo replacement right there.
Yeah, 100%.
They figured that problem out pretty quick.
Yeah. Well, and this is the thing with Vegas. Like, we know they're not shy about trading first round picks to bring in legitimate talent that can help their roster immediately. Like, I think I saw a graphic. Their only first round pick that they've actually held on to is Trevor Connolly, and who knows when they're going to trade him. You would assume at some point they're probably going to trade the best prospect in their system, but they just continuously bring in these everyday legitimate NHL players. They don't care about development. They're kind of cutthroat in that way, but it leads to wins. Like it does. It leads to winning hockey. And so, I wonder if more teams are going to take this Vegas approach, at least the established teams around the National League. You got to
build a winning culture there first. Like you can't just, the Canucks aren't just going, fuck it. We're the Vegas Golden Knights. We trade all our first round picks.
Yeah.
Lots of teams couldn't do that. But it also, it really shows that a late first round pick isn't always a gimme to become something great, because the only player Vegas has traded away that would be impactful is Nick Suzuki. He'd be very impactful to them, but otherwise maybe some depth, right? It's not like they're losing top end players. They're doing this very wisely when they're a winning team. They're not wasting these first round picks in a boom or bust kind of year. They know they're a playoff team and they're acting on it.
Well, you talk about Nick Suzuki being the only piece. Like, I think you're right. That's the only piece that they've traded away that legitimately has developed into anything. Because they traded Eric Brandstrom for Mark Stone. That was essentially the trade.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, that's ridiculous. And Mark Stone's an unbelievable player. He's having an unbelievable year. He made Team Canada, of course, which we'll get into.
Is he hurt again, though?
Well, he's been hurt. He's been hurt here and there all year, but he's got like 20 goals in 30 games or something crazy like that. Like,
that's a Mark Stone stat line.
Yeah.
At like the 60 game mark, he's got 20 goals in 30 games played.
Yeah, 20 goals in 36 games.
Okay.
But yeah, like they continuously have been doing this since they became a franchise in the National Hockey League. Like, everybody was upset about all the moves they made at the expansion draft and everything. Well, upset in hindsight because it turned them into a perennial contender.
Yeah. That's That's the easiest way to put it because they have been a perennial contender. They've only missed the playoffs once.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then they bring in
crazy.
guys like Mitch Marner in the offseason. Like they're an attractive franchise to play for. And so you say half season of Rasmus Anderson, but then you also mentioned they're probably going to find a way to get that done.
It probably will, yeah.
They will for
But
sure.
it's hard to factor that in as a part of the return for Calgary.
Right. Yeah, definitely. But I don't know. Like everybody talks about top six centermen and right shot defensemen are the hottest commodity in the league. Like I kind of thought you could at least squeeze out two first round picks from Vegas.
So Vegas, I mean, it is the very conditional first round pick for 2028 if they win the cup.
Mm-hmm.
I think yeah, you might be right that they could have gotten something a little better, maybe like a conference final appearance conditional or a playoff round win. Yeah,
I
I'm
mean
sure
the
Calgary
other
fans have something to root for this playoffs.
yeah. I mean the other thing is you can flip Zach Whitecloud. Like he's a pretty
You
solid
can do that too,
defenseman.
yeah.
And so the Flames have that option as well, and they can flip him for more futures if need be. But yeah, I thought I was a little bit underwhelmed by the return for Calgary, but overall, I think great move for Vegas. Rasmus Anderson is a legit top four defenseman in the National Hockey League. So yeah, I just think overall is a
Mhm.
pretty good trade. Another
Yeah.
trade that we can get to here is Kiefer Sherwood, traded from the Vancouver Canucks to the San Jose Sharks. The return was Cole Clayton, 2000 born defenseman, and two second round picks, one in 2026, one in 2027. What did you think of this return for the Vancouver Canucks?
I think it's pretty good for Kiefer Sherwood, who looked pretty good on a very bad team, and they got it. They gave it to a team that at worst is going to be a mid round, second round pick.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you think of teams that are acquiring, San Jose is not the first one to come out of your mouth. Obviously, with the way the West is going right now, I think they're currently in a wild card spot. Sure, whatever. 30 games from now, they might end the season in a wild card spot and play a playoff series. But there's also a very good chance this becomes a early second, even next year's. Like there's no guarantee that San Jose's linear development persists and that they keep it up this year and develop into an even better team next year. Like rebuilds are tough.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Like, I think the fact that they have Macklin Celebrini and the level that he's playing at, I expect them to be pushing for a playoff spot next year. I don't
Mhm.
necessarily think that they're going to be a playoff team this year, though. And so, yeah, I think the second round pick this year is probably going to be in the top 50. And then next year, who knows? But you know, I mean, we live in Vancouver. We are very in tune with what's going on with the Vancouver Canucks. A lot of Canucks fans wanted a first round pick, and the original ask was reported to be a first round pick plus a prospect for Kiefer Sherwood. But that's because he's playing for the Vancouver Canucks in a top six role, playing on the top power play unit. Like
Mhm.
on San Jose, well, on San Jose it's a little bit different because they still haven't arrived to that true playoff contender level. But on most teams, Kiefer Sherwood is a third line guy that doesn't see much power play time, maybe a little bit, and he's going to kill penalties for you and be a great playoff guy. So typically, those
Yeah,
guys don't go for first round picks plus. And so I think the fact that they were able to bring in 2 seconds is a fairly solid return for Kiefer Sherwood.
especially a second round next year. The Canucks don't have their own.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
It's a great start to the rebuild, Vancouver.
What did they trade that for? I don't even know. It's probably actually it might have been Jason Dickinson
It
when
was
they
in the
dumped his
McCabe trade.
contract. Oh, Mikheyev. Okay, one of those Chicago trades where they dumped a
Yeah,
contract.
a contract dump, and then you start the rebuild.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean I think Kiefer Sherwood's going to be an impactful player for the San Jose Sharks. I think he's going to really bring a lot of energy to a lineup that has already a ton of offensive firepower and a ton of energy that they play with. So I'm excited to see what he looks like. Obviously, we haven't seen a game with his injury yet, but after the Olympic break, I'm excited to see what he looks like in a San Jose Sharks uniform. But let's shift out of the trade talk here. Mitch Marner, we've got to talk about this because he returned to Toronto and it was a big story. So we might as well touch on it a little bit here.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a big deal. And then let me read you his stat line: 0 points, 17 minutes and 25 seconds, one shot on goal, one giveaway, one takeaway. That's about it for Mitch Marner.
He's got the yips in that stadium.
Yeah.
Meaningful game in Toronto.
I mean, Vegas comes out on top 6-3, but
they did, yeah.
Yeah, just for what was hyped up to be this huge game, and there's so much build up to this return for Mitch Marner to Toronto, and it just ended up being a dud for him.
It did, yeah. It was. I didn't watch it. I'm not gonna sit down and watch a Leafs Vegas game, but it's you expect more, especially when the fans are as into it as they were that night.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what? He's the only person trashing Toronto sports fans. Of course, they're gonna be pissed.
Hey, not the only person trashing Toronto sports fans. We'll shift into this now because that's a good segue. William Nylander fined $5,000 for flipping the bird to the broadcast camera while sitting up in the press box.
Dude, Department of Player Safety is a joke. They're the ones finding him. We talked about it last time we were on. There ended up being a couple more instances the following week too. Like, I think it was, I don't remember the Panthers player, but it was against the Senators. You probably saw the clip where he just right against the numbers against Artem Zub into the boards.
I don't remember who it was, but I do know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And then Brian Rust on Brock Besser the other day.
Brian Rust got a suspension, though, at least.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't play for Florida.
Yeah.
Also, like, Florida Panthers they did the same thing during their Stanley Cup parade and chanted F the Oilers and didn't get fined. It's hard. I'm not a Leafs fan, but it's hard not to say there's not a bias.
Did you see a bunch of Leafs fans were posting this clip. It was circulating on Twitter the other day. Mikhail Sergachev did the exact same thing, walking through the tunnel to the dressing room.
Last year, yeah.
Yeah.
Just flipped off the camera. Nothing.
I don't know. I mean, I think it's soft, but I mean, why is Willie Nylander doing that? It doesn't make a lot of sense.
It's kind of funny, though.
It is, but
like you just pan up to the box and he just flips off the camera.
But did you see Dakota Joshua and Chris Tanev in that clip?
They're like, yeah, probably. I don't remember.
They kind of looked like, what are you doing, man?
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, fine worthy. I don't think so, but also
not with everything else they let go too. Like,
yeah, 100%.
If it was even across the board, the Sergachev one, Panthers during their parade, yeah, of course. But both of those don't get a fine. I don't know about that one, Batman. I don't know.
It's George Peros.
Yeah, George.
I mean, was player safety responsible for that? I don't know if they were.
I just saw they tweeted that they fined him $5,000.
Oh, okay, then they probably were if that's the case. But
it's
why
very
is
unsafe.
Player safety involved in that?
Because it's very unsafe to flip off the camera. You don't know what can happen.
Soon those hot mic situations, like guys yelling at the refs and stuff, those are going to get fined as well.
Only if it's a Canadian team.
Yeah, that's true. Let's, do you want to get into our team of the week?
Yeah, take it away.
All right. Team of the week. Sorry. I've got the Utah Mammoth. I don't think they're on like a big winning streak right now. Yeah, they're only on a 1-game heater, but they're 8-1-1 in their last 10. So I felt it was appropriate to highlight them. They had some notable wins over the Dallas Stars, the Florida Panthers, Philly Flyers, and the Toronto Maple Leafs. But yeah, 8-1-1 in their last 10. Utah, they're a fun team to watch, and they were a team that in our previous podcast that we kind of discontinued but recontinued with this show. Um, they were the team that I thought was going to make the playoffs last year, and obviously that didn't end up happening. But they've taken another step this year, and I really like what I've been seeing from Utah.
Yeah, I want to see it turn into some consistency because they've been
Mm-hmm.
doing this all year. An 8-1-1 run followed by a 3-7 run.
Yeah,
That's why they're in the wild card right now instead of pushing for third in the Central Division because they obviously have the talent. They've got the goal scoring. Defense is good. Goaltending been a little inconsistent, but mostly good. It's just they can't. They got to find a way to raise the floor and just play a little more consistent hockey, and then
yeah,
they'll be a playoff team. Like they realistically, they should be a wild card team this year.
yeah. I think so too. But what like they're still a young team, right? So
They are, yeah,
that's kind of what you get from these young teams. You get these heaters, and then they take a little bit of a step back, and that's just kind of how the year plays out. But yeah, I think it's time for Utah to make a real playoff push and start. I mean, they could be a serious buyer at the deadline this year, and we'll get into some trade rumors later on. But they're a team that I don't have in my notes for trade rumors here, but they could be a buyer to bring in a veteran that can help stabilize their team and try to build some of that consistency for later on in the year.
yeah. Over in the East here, it's Buffalo again. I'm pretty sure they were yours last week.
Yeah.
They're the best team in the East right now. 4-game road win streak, beating teams like Montreal and the New York Islanders, who've been really good recently. Two regulation losses in 2026. This team has stormed up into third in their division. They look poised to make the playoffs with just the way they've been playing. They're super consistent after they fired their general manager, which you wouldn't think is the cause for such a run. He's not the one down there making the lines and making the plays as the game goes along. But I guess it's just the spark that this team needed.
Yeah, I mean, they also like their general manager made a good move in the offseason, trading
He
JJ
did, yeah.
Paterka for Josh
They
Doan.
got a good
And
return there.
yeah, like Josh Doan, he just signed that extension, which we didn't touch on in our weekly updates. But
Ah, you can touch on it now.
yeah, what was it? I can't remember exactly what it was, but
Hold on.
it was a
I
seven
got it
year
here.
deal.
6.9 million a
Yeah,
year.
like that's a really good deal for Josh Doan, who's been playing excellent hockey lately for the Buffalo Sabres. But I mean,
Yeah. 16 goals in 52 games. And he's still very young. He's 23 years old. You could assume, but at development, he's a 30-goal player.
yeah, yeah, and you've got guys like Tage Thompson, Alex Tuck, Rasmus Dahlin. Like they have the pieces to be a good hockey team, and finally, they're putting that together.
Yeah, as happy as I am for them, I'm still a little skeptical. I want to see the
Yeah,
season end before I can officially say, all right, this is a good team. They're a legit team, and they're going to make the playoffs. I'll say that when there's an X beside their name.
yeah, I would agree with that. But I do think like I mean it was my Christmas wish list. I want the Buffalo Sabres to be good again.
Yeah.
They deserve playoff hockey there in Buffalo, and so hopefully they can continue with the streak that they've been on lately, and they can be a real contender this year. But let's dive into our trade rumors now. I want to kick things off with the New York Rangers and particularly Artemi Panarin because the Rangers have said they're willing to sell. The Rangers
Yeah.
GM Drury, he came out and said they're open for business, and so Artemi Panarin, he's on an expiring contract. He might be a legitimate piece that a contender could bring in and push them over the edge. And one team that I want to highlight that I think could really be in on Artemi Panarin is the Colorado Avalanche. If they're able to make it work, I know they have $3.5 million in cap space. His cap, Panarin's cap hit is $11.5 million. If they can somehow find a way to bring in Artemi Panarin, can you imagine a line of Panarin, McKinnon, and Natchez? They would rip it up in the playoffs. That'd be the best line in hockey.
Yeah, it would be immediately. It would put them right. I mean, they're already pretty much in a league of their own. They've come down a little bit since the Christmas break, but they're still far and away the best team in the league. And Artemi Panarin addition would just secure that. Like, they would need to move some things around. There'd probably be some retention
Yeah.
from the Rangers as well, but just the thought of that being out there in the air should scare every other playoff team.
Yeah, and so the Avalanche don't have their 2026 first round pick this year, but they do have 2027 and 2028. I could see a realistic world where you send 2027, 2028 first round picks and maybe someone like Ross Colton back to the Rangers. Obviously, there might be some prospects involved in that as well and whatever, but some kind of trade package around surrounding that to move with retention from the Rangers to move Panarin to the Colorado Avalanche. I think that could be a legitimate trade option for both teams, and I think that if that happens, Colorado's winning the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, that might be a true rental for Colorado. They won't have any cap space going into next year
Yeah.
already. Then they're not going to pay a $10 million deal to Artemi Panarin. It's a go for it all this year move for them.
Well, and we know they're not afraid of taking on rentals. Obviously, they extended Brock Nelson, but at the time when they made that trade last year, they gave up a lot and they didn't have an extension in place at the time of the trade, right? So
Mhm.
I I wouldn't be surprised if they took a flyer on it and maybe they do make it work to sign Panarin for a couple more years afterwards, like they did with Brock Nelson. But yeah, I could see that being a real possibility. But let's talk about some sellers because the Vancouver Canucks obviously trading Kiefer Sherwood. That's kind of what teams that aren't in the playoffs do. They trade their expiring UFAs who are up for probably big contracts that Sherwood's probably going to be signing this offseason. It's looking like it's going to be around that $5 million range, which the Canucks weren't comfortable paying, obviously, and didn't need to pay because they're in a rebuild right now. But it's it must be time to sell some of their other veterans who have more term on their contracts. A guy like Connor Garland comes to mind. He could be a real option for the Canucks to trade.
It's going to be tough to trade some of these players with term on their contract because nobody's really been good for the team.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the only problem is there isn't anything standing out other than Quinn Hughes, who they've already traded, Kiefer Sherwood, who's gone now too. Pedersen's been good, but he's been a little streaky because there's nothing around him at all, and he's not the first name people are calling for because he's not the easiest one to trade for.
Yeah, his name has been up in the rumors. I
Yeah,
don't see it happening at least this season. Like maybe something drastic happens in the off season and they move him. But
yeah,
yeah, I definitely don't see him. I'm more thinking like the Jake DeBrusks, the Connor Garland's, Tyler
mhm.
Myers is another name that's come up recently.
Myers would be good because that's a year and a half at a 3 mil cap hit
Yeah, exactly.
for a depth defender. He'd be good on a third line.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Um,
Yeah, I think the only problem with moving the skill players on the skill forwards is the term and the way they performed this year.
mhm.
Like like Dabrowski's got a lot of power play goals, but he doesn't have anything at 5-on-5.
He has 2 goals at 5-on-5
Yeah,
this
two.
year. Is
I think he
that
just scored his second one like a couple nights ago.
he did?
It's a, it's a slow season offensively, and Garland's fine. He's a good third liner, but that's it. They'd be taking on a long contract.
Hmm. Yeah, 100%. Another team that could be selling is the Toronto Maple Leafs. But like, what do you sell? That's what I wonder because we know the
Yeah,
Toronto market. They don't like to rebuild. I mean, maybe they did a proper rebuild with bringing in Austin Matthews through the draft, Willie Nylander, Mitch Marner, but it
that was a long rebuild too.
it was. And so, do Toronto Maple Leafs fans want to go through another rebuild while you still have Austin Matthews on your roster? Does Austin Matthews want
You
to
got
go
to
through a
take the whole
rebuild?
city into. You got to take their whole sports world into context here too. Look at the Raptors and Blue Jays. Do they really want the Leafs to blow it up right now?
Yeah.
Like, let's be honest. If you look at the city as a whole, that's the last thing they want. They want everything good all at the same time, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah. And I mean, like, I really look at them and I go, who do you move if you're looking for even just a quick retool? Like, who do you move
Yeah,
out and try to,
Yarncroak.
well, what are you going to get for Yarncroke?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. That's the problem. It's the return, and I don't think they want to get rid of McKelly, who's 25 and on a cheap contract.
Hmm.
They they've worked themselves into a corner here. They got a lot of players similar to the Canucks. They're just not as bad. A lot of players with term.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, John Tavares comes to mind, but does he want to leave Toronto? I don't think so at the end of
Yeah,
his
he's got a
career.
full no move clause.
Exactly.
That's going to take some convincing because he took a pay cut to stay.
Yeah. And I mean, Max Domi, maybe. Like, I don't know. I don't see, like, people are talking about the Toronto Maple Leafs as potential sellers. I don't see a realistic path where they could sell some of their guys. Like, I think if they really want to retool, they need to bring guys in that can help them
I was going to say
immediately.
that. I was also going to say this was always going to be a weird year. The
Hmm.
moment Mitch Marner was gone, the Toronto sports media, like I said, they want to win now, and they don't want to put the effort. They don't want to wait, especially with how long that drought's been for the city. But they just need a little retool. They need to rebuild the culture because they like it's the moment they get to the playoffs, everything kind of just meh. They just kind of shrug it off. They don't have that extra level. Talk about the playoff numbers and do or die games for the core all you want, but until the culture changes, I don't see them really taking that next step.
Yeah.
Is it going to be another head coach? Probably, but I don't think that's the solution.
How many coaches
Berube,
has this group had?
too many.
Yeah.
Berube fixed the Blues within a year. He put his nose down and led them to a Stanley Cup. He can't lock this core in. Then who can?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't disagree with you at all. Like, I completely agree. I don't know if I see a path for the Toronto Maple Leafs to rebuild, to do anything really, unless they rebuild. And then you're looking at trading guys like Austin Matthews and Willie Nylander, which is not really an option for them.
Yeah, could could you imagine how different they would be if the Rantanen trade went through?
I know.
Like they would this would be such a different conversation because they would have had the Marner replacement right away, locked in, just move on with your day.
They probably, like, looking at their division, they'd probably be first place in their division right now.
Probably. Maybe Tampa's got a point or two on them,
Maybe.
but they'd be up there
Yeah.
immediately. Like they were that close.
And now
They
they're last
tried.
place in their
They
div.
really tried.
Yeah. I
It's easy to make fun of them, but they really tried and they almost fixed the problem before it became a problem. How often can you say that about the Leafs?
I do wonder, like, Brad Tree Living, like, is he the right guy?
I don't want to say it again, but who is?
I guess, but I don't know. Like, I I
It's
just
such a it is such a weird one because they're in such an awkward spot where they just need to sit down and quickly rebuild, but nobody wants to rebuild.
yeah.
Not there, not now. It's such a stark difference from Vancouver, where we've been yearning for it for since the Stanley Cup run was over. I just don't see how they rebuild right now.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, and what I was going to say about Tree Living is just like you look at the Kachuk trade when he was in
Yeah,
Calgary, like I don't know if he's the right guy to help you through retool. Like he kind of screwed over the Flames with that trade.
they yeah, it's weird. We got one more piece of news before we go into the Olympics here because we didn't touch on it. Demko's out for the year.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
I think we talked about the Canucks. We should bring this up too. Hey,
Yeah,
he's a con artist. Look at that extension he got. We
I
knew
mean,
this was gonna happen. Like
it's crazy. Like how did they let it happen? How did they give him an extension knowing that Quinn Hughes was on the fence about staying? I guess
no
you're
one,
extending Demko hoping that he has a healthy season. And Quinn Hughes goes, "Oh yeah, I'll stay."
it was too much hope though. It was way too much
Exactly,
hope.
and
And then it
that
was like right away he had a short little IL stint. Or
mhm.
sorry, IR stint.
Well, and that
It,
brings me back to what I was saying with Vegas. Like you kind of need to be cutthroat if you want to win, and if you want to build a contender. And so you say to
they're so
Demko,
far away from that.
I know, but like you say to Demko, we're not extending you until you can prove that you can
Yeah,
have a fully healthy season.
they they care too much about that fan interest with the players they currently have. That's this whole ownership and general managers attraction because they've been bad for so long. It's keep the names that people like.
Mhm.
That's how we're going to sell tickets this year. Well, you're not going to sell him if he's not on the ice. And now nobody's going to take that contract.
No,
I
like,
mean, you assume that the Canucks are not going to be good these next 3 years, that you can just eat the cash.
yeah.
But there's obviously no world where he gets traded, even if without an extension, because he's getting hurt regardless.
Well, what I was going to say is without that extension, there's a team that might take a chance on him. And maybe they have a good 1B or another solid goaltender in their lineup that they trust to help them through a playoff spot, but or help them through a playoff run. But maybe they go, okay, we have the goaltending. We can take a risk and give up a second round pick or a decent prospect for Thatcher Demko.
It would have been an early trade too, because he like the deadline's not close yet. Like we still got a little while,
Mm-hmm.
and he's gone already. Like
Yeah,
it would have been a very risky trade for whatever team was going to pull that trigger.
for
But
sure. But I,
should we go into the Olympics here?
yeah,
We
let's
we,
do
we dragged a little bit here.
it. Let's do it. Let's get into the Olympic rosters. Let's kick things off with Team Canada. Just what are your overall thoughts on the team? I'll say John Cooper obviously had some influence in this. I don't.
Sorelli,
Yeah, I don't know if I think Anthony Cirelli should have been on the roster. There's a few other guys that I would have taken ahead of him, but I mean, it is very similar to the Four Nations roster. I'm glad that Nick Suzuki got a spot. I'm really happy that Macklin
yeah.
Celebrini was there. He obviously deserved it. He's on a 125 point pace this
Oh,
season, which is ridiculous.
he's cooking.
So yeah, he 100% should be there. But what are your overall thoughts on the Team Canada roster?
Obviously, we want Bedard there because of the speed play, especially in a smaller arena too. Like you're end to end, like the Flash. But he's came back from his injury, lost a step on a very weak team. Otherwise, it would be a lot of lateral moves.
Mm-hmm.
Other than maybe Tom Wilson gone, Bennett in because he didn't take stupid penalties, and player safety loves him. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not mad about the roster selection. They won it last year with a very similar, or sorry, yeah, last year, literally last year, Four Nations
Mm-hmm.
with a very similar roster. It's
Yeah.
just going to come down to goalie play.
Yeah, 100%. And that's something that we've talked about quite a bit in
Yeah,
previous episodes. I'm glad. I feel like they got it right. I think yes, you bring Jordan Binnington. He won it for you last year at Four Nations. Sure, bring him. He's struggling this year, but he's proven that he can do it at
I'm pretty sure
the.
he was struggling last year before Four Nations too.
Oh yeah, he was.
Yeah,
But at least they bring in some insurance with Darcy Kemper and Logan Thompson. I think maybe Mackenzie Blackwood is a bit of a snub, but over Darcy Kemper and Logan Thompson, I'm not too upset about
I
it
mean,
at all.
Thompson's going to be the starter. Like
Do you think?
he is.
I think Jordan Binnington starts game one.
Who are they playing game one? Is it
Czechia.
a okay? Ooh, just they just got to get that mental block from whatever the World Juniors are doing.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if it's the same story? Beat him in the round robin. You're like, all right, we're fine. Play him in the gold medal match.
Play him in the quarterfinal and you lose, man. I guess this year was the semis, but yeah,
Yeah,
that would be ridiculous.
I might. That might. It might be. It just might be funny at that point, though.
Yeah, it would be. But yeah, I do want to talk about some snubs here for Team Canada. You mentioned Bedard. I also wanted to highlight Matthew Schaefer. I
Yeah,
think you could have brought him. I understand leaving him off, but realistically, like, why not bring him as your eighth defenseman over Travis Sanheim? Someone like that.
yeah. I think it just comes down to experience.
Hmm.
Like that's always been a big thing for building these teams. Like, yeah,
Yeah, fair enough. Um,
I think USA had some worse snubs though.
yeah, let's get
Easily,
into USA.
the big one.
I mean, which one's the big one? I think all three of
There's
these are
two.
pretty big. Adam Fox, Jason Robertson, and Layton Hudson left off the team. I, I don't know which one you're referring to as the big one because I think
I
all
was
three of these
referring
are pretty
to
big.
Robertson, but yeah, you could add Cole Caulfield to that list too.
Hmm.
30 goal scorer, point per game player. They made mistakes.
I mean, you bring in Vinny Trocheck and JT Miller over Jason Robertson.
Yeah, the JT Miller one is a bad decision because he hasn't been good this year. He's been proven to not be a good leader, so you can't even use that as an excuse.
Yeah.
And Adam Fox is just better than Trocheck, who, by the way, are they're still teammates, right?
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing. I think they said that the Rangers really pushed. I can't remember who it was. Who the GM is for the U.S. or U.S.
Is it
Olympic
Bruce
GM.
Cassidy?
No,
Oh no,
U.S.
that's
Olympic
the
GM is
coach.
Bill Guerin, but it was who's their head coach?
Cassidy,
Mike
right?
Sullivan.
McSullivan.
Yeah, Mike Sullivan, who's the coach of the Rangers, and apparently he really pushed to have Adam Fox on the team. Somehow he gets JT Miller and Vinny Trocheck a spot, but he doesn't get Adam Fox a spot on the team. The better of the three.
Yeah, literally the best of the three. It doesn't make sense at all. Lane Hudson, you can make the same argument. Oh, doesn't have the experience and maybe the size bit too, especially with the way
Mhm.
Canada and USA's games went in the Four Nations. But still, the best passer, like the Kale McCarr of the USA.
Yeah, and like the argument is, well, we have Quinn Hughes, we have Zach Werenski, like we don't need that offensive defenseman, but like he's picked up his defensive game. You have
He
a
really
bunch
has.
of shutdown D-men, Jake Sanderson, Charlie McAvoy, Jacob Slavin, Brock Faber. Those are all good shutdown D-men. You can find a spot for Lane Hudson, even if he's just your seventh defenseman. And
Yeah,
then they bring in Jackson Lacombe as an injury replacement. I think it should have been Lane Hudson.
or Adam Fox. Like
Yeah.
you got two better ones right there. And we don't even like Jason Robertson as well. I don't even know why he was left off. He is would have objectively been one of the best players.
He plays in their top six.
He plays in their top six, but you got to have Kachuk in his 5 games.
Yeah.
Obviously, Kachuk's very good. That was a
Yeah,
joke.
of course. But yeah, I mean, like, I think Jason Robertson plays in the top six. He's played big playoff games. Like, it's not like this guy has no playoff experience in the National Hockey League, which I guess they think that translates to the Olympics, but like he had 18 points in 19 playoff games and 16 in 19. Obviously, last year he struggled a little bit in the playoffs, but he has proven that he can be a very good playoff player.
He's also gotten 62 points in 53 games this year, including 30 goals.
Yeah. Meanwhile, you have JT Miller on the roster. He maybe has half that.
Maybe, yeah. And anger issues.
34 points in 45 games.
Dude, he's almost got more goals than Miller has points.
Yeah.
Remember when people were pissed that the Canucks traded the wrong person? Yeah, Miller's not playing well either.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I was very surprised by those snubs. Another snub that I was surprised by, which I don't have on our sheet here, but Philip Hedl didn't make the Czechia team.
Really?
Yeah, didn't make the Czechia
What?
roster.
What's their decor? Is it all NHL players?
He's a no Philip
Oh wait,
Hedl.
sorry, Filipino. I was thinking of Hronik.
Hronik made the team. Hedl did not.
Good.
But I think I can't remember how many forwards they have that are not NHL players, but it's quite a bit.
Did he reject an invite by any chance?
No, he's
Because he's
pissed. He got interviewed
Mhm.
about it at a after Canucks practice, and he was pissed off about it. Yeah, one, two, three, four. They have four players. Oh, this is a projected roster. Let me try and find their actual Olympic roster. But yeah, they have at least four forwards that are not currently in the NHL.
Yeah, I think the only reason they didn't extend an invite is just the concussion concerns.
Sure, but he's back playing, and you
Oh,
can use him as an injury spot if
I
he's
agree
not.
with you. I'm just saying that's got to be their only excuse,
Yeah, I think
right?
it was. He mentioned something in a scrum with the Canucks media that he was very hurt by it, and I don't want to make stuff up, so I don't have the quote in front of me here. But he wasn't happy with some of the things that the Czechia coach had said about
Hmm.
him, particularly I think it was about the injury concerns. So yeah, he was not happy being left off that roster, and I think it's ridiculous that he was left off that roster. But
It was, yeah.
yeah, just some
You know what else
crazy
is
stuff.
ridiculous? The arena.
Yeah, let's get into that because we didn't talk about the hole that was in the ice during the test game.
No, we did not. We didn't talk about the scoreboard either. That's the size of my computer here.
I mean, man, this is like at least the NHL players are going. They've kind of said,
Yeah.
screw it, like we're going to
How
go anyway. But
how long until Italy says they don't care about hockey? Like it's coming.
I mean, it's just like this is such a blunder, and we've talked about it quite a bit, but
It's
just
so
such a
openly a
blunder.
blunder too. Like everyone knows that this is that they're making mistakes and they're just whatever. They
Pretty
don't
much.
care. They literally just do not care.
Well, did you see the photo behind the net? So in the
Okay.
stands behind the net, the rink is too short, right? And in the photo behind the nets, there's like at least a foot of space on either side before the stands start. At least it might actually, you know what? It's more than a foot because there were people walking in that pathway. They could have easily made the rink bigger, and they
Yeah.
just didn't. They were just like,
Like I
ah,
said, it's
whatever.
just choice. They don't care.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, whatever. Just shrink it. Be it's smaller than an NHL arena.
Yeah. It's just ridiculous. Blowing up there. What's going on?
I didn't realize that was coming through. I'm gonna have to mute my notifications next time we record. That's got to be like 10 by now.
Oh yeah, it's up there.
Some of those were you though.
Yeah, they were. We were texting. I was glitching out. I hope that doesn't. I don't think it will come through on the full show, but
No, it always says the actual recording is higher quality.
yeah. Um, but yeah, I mean, yeah, we'll do a Olympic preview ahead of the Olympics, but there are definitely some big snubs, and I mean,
We might get our friend of the show, old Spencer Pomeroy, on for that too.
yeah, I hope so. He didn't respond to our
Yeah, he's
invite
got to
to
answer
this
our
episode.
messages. Yeah, I
He's
had him
also got
on
to pay
last
me
week.
for fantasy football.
Yeah, get him on the show. Call him out on air.
I'll tell him on this episode. I'm gonna text him and say, "Hey, just skip forward to like 40 minutes in and listen to the rest because you're getting called out, buddy." Um, but yeah, we'll have an Olympic preview, and I'm sure we'll have some updates on the arena from there. There were a couple quotes that I wanted to read from Gary Bettman about the Olympic arena. He says, there are still challenges because the building is still under construction and the ice is new. We've been assured that, or we expect that everything that needs to be done on a timely basis will get done. But it's not our event. We're invited guests, but we've offered to help and consult and advise as they feel they need and would be appropriate because we do have a little bit of expertise in that area.
A little bit. They've ignored the help.
Yeah.
Everyone's saying you need help, and they're saying no, we don't. As they're actively making mistakes.
I mean, it's ridiculous. I I read somewhere, I don't know if this is still the case, but I read somewhere a couple weeks ago that the dressing rooms weren't ready, and like who knows if it
Is
was
the
true, but
backup is the backup goalie going to be sitting in the stands?
yeah, be like an e-bug, but it's a
Yeah,
backup goalie. 15-minute
it's
delays if
just
they decide to pull the
it's just
goalie.
a very well-known NHL goalie just sitting in the stands.
Yeah.
Jordan Binnington just fighting a fan.
I mean, it's just ridiculous. But yeah, we'll have some more updates as they come. As we get into more regular episodes here on In the
Yeah.
Slot. But is there anything you wanted to get into before we wrap up?
No, I think I got a bunch of texts to answer anyways.
Yeah. All right, perfect. Well, that'll do it for this episode of In the Slot. Be sure to check out our other shows, Ball Don't Lie, Film Grinders, and The Bench and the Bleachers. And like and subscribe on this video. Check out some of our socials, link down below, and check us
Yep.
out. We'll see you next week on In the Slot. Thank you for listening.
Go Hawks.